Hello there, and welcome to this edition of Teen Talk, where we will investigate biology, DNA, and evolution wrong. Most of you are familiar with DNA. You are familiar with the fact that we have opposite bases that attract. If you look at the diagram, we have a large base and we have a small base. Adenine always connects to thymine, and cytosine, represented by the letter C, always joins to guanine. Notice that this forms a pattern of what looks like a ladder. Notice that if the large bases join together and the small bases join together, it would have a rather bumpy appearance and not smooth and ladder-like. Well, this twisted ladder, or DNA, as shown as the bottom diagram, is how it actually looks. This is also known as this molecule of DNA is also known as the code or instructions for making a protein. And this is where we can start talking about how evolution wrong really does not make good logical sense or scientific or even biological sense. Now, the order of the bases is the key. And evolution wrong, meaning changing pond scum into people, has to happen by changes in the DNA bases. Now, I have the word changes in quotes because the changes are actually mutations. And for all my years teaching biology, in the early years, the word mutations occurred a lot in the evolution chapter. But something interesting happened as the editions of biology would change over the years. The word mutations occurred less and less frequently, and the word changes occurred more frequently. Maybe it's because biology teachers would complain to the publishers that kids keep bringing up the word mutation and it has such a negative connotation. Why don't we just say they're changes? That sounds more innocent and less harmful to the idea that mutated pond scum can become people. Well, let's see if mutation actually helps evolution wrong as a concept. Watch this. You can see that I am creating a sentence. Notice that occasionally a word is spelled correctly, like further in the sentence you'll see the word butter. But is that the actual word that the sentence calls for? Allow me to try and read it to you. Does randomly changing lectures make for a butter or more detective scent ants? And you can see that is not a question mark at the end. Now, please understand this. When you start randomly switching bases around in DNA, you will occasionally get a protein to be coded for. But as you can see in this sentence, so many changes are made that the sentence is just junk. In fact, that's what you get with mutations. Oftentimes, it is junk. Most of the time, it's garbage and will not cause any changes to happen. Sometimes the changes are harmless, and occasionally, like extremely rarely, are they beneficial. But again, the environment has to select them. So, for example, if the mutations take away wings from beetles that are on a very windy island, well, obviously, then wingless beetles will be selected for. But we'll come back to that when we talk about fruit flies. The point I'm making here is that mutations do not help evolution wrong at all. In fact, that's why I call it evolution wrong, because evolution right only deals with the harmless mutations that really don't affect the survival of the organism and the ability to pass on the genes to the offspring. We'll come back to this again later, so I hope you will like, subscribe, and share this video series with your friends. Until then, bye.